Hi, my name is Benny Johnson. As some of you know, I've been struggling with addiction. However, I decided to change my life and went into recovery. I've started this podcast 90 Days Clean, and I want to take you along in my journey. What does lie ahead of me? Let me be frank, I do not know. Will I ever drink again? I do not know. This is how Stairway to Redemption was born. It is my search for answer in a real-time process of what is going to work for me. It is then my aspiration to help you figure out what's going to work for you. It is our journey together. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stairway to Redemption. This week's guest is our first comeback guest. If you don't count our series, our roundtable series, and our fiction series, which first episode ended up being one of the most popular. The second one, I think, the second most popular. In that episode, from last year, episode number 33, by the way, go check it out. We talk about the challenges he faced in his first year of sobriety. And now that he just hit 2 years sober, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Um,
25th.
yeah, 25th of July. We are going to talk about the tools and the experience he got in year 2. So, guys, I give you Rich. Rich, how you doing?
Not bad. 2 years.
2 years, baby.
Can't believe it.
Right.
It's just unbelievable that it's 2 years. It seemed like yesterday I was just going to rehab and and it's just amazing the one day at a time, and it's 2 years. It's just crazy. How it's been. There've been ups and downs over the 2 years, but for the most part it's been good. And successful, but a lot of it is crazy scheduling.
I guess.
Sticking to a plan of what I need to do to be, what I have to do every day. I have to, occupy myself, my time outside of, business is business. I got lucky where I didn't really have to work the first 13 months or so. I mean, I worked, but not crazy, but, where I was like chasing people for, because I'm in sales for sales every day. But now I'm beginning to more than ease back into, work. And, but I have to remember, no matter what I'm doing, that I have to do certain things every day, like self-care.
Yeah, like in order to stay spiritually fit, I presume.
Oh,
But yeah, we definitely gonna talk about the tools that you learned this year
Yeah.
or that you you use to go to year 2. But first thing first, let's start with the state of the mind address. So what's been in your mind lately?
What's been in my mind? I don't know if we want to know that.
I don't know.
Crazy thoughts.
Oh,
No, not crazy thoughts, but just what goes through my
don't make me an accomplice.
what goes through my mind on a daily basis. I don't know if everybody wants to be there, but just people in general crack me up. As I can't stand. Well, no, I love people. I love everybody, but group wise, that can be kind of challenging at times, and certain things going on with certain I'll just put it on the table. The thing that drives me nuts is when someone shows up late to a meeting, an AA meeting, and then they're the first person to share. It just absolutely drives me nuts, because to me, and I'm not saying you have to be on time, but, out of respect to the person speaking and the group, at least try to be relatively not 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
And then they want to share first. I don't know. So Benny and I, you and I, not Benny and I, but you and I kind of agree on the same thing. And it's not to say that they don't need it, because everybody is coming in and I heard from other people that I talked to about it that, well, what if someone's really struggling? That's great, but wait till the end, and it's just more of less a respect thing. And that's being picky, but it was on my mind because someone was doing it repeatedly, and I think it was just driving me mad. And so I have to try that so it doesn't build into a resentment.
No, I mean, I'm there with you. I share your opinion. And me, like, like me personally, when I say late, it's like after the speaker late, like,
Right.
And we share our opinion on this matter. And I personally, for me, it's hard to take a person seriously when they do that. I understand, some people come there like really need the help, but we're not saying don't talk. We're just saying like wait till the end. Be courteous to those who listen to the speaker and let them share first, because like it's usually to share about what the speaker said. If you were not there and you want to share first, just to what they have a term for share dumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a term for that. And then like just to be listened but not to listen yourself, then this is not what I believe this program is about. But I'm sure we're gonna talk about it again in this episode. It's gonna come back.
That was one of that was one of the things. The other thing I was really thinking about was early recovery and how I got through it to where I'm at now. And you never recovered. You're always in recovery. And the longest time anybody has is 24 hours. And you do the one day at a time. But it happened at one of the meetings I went to. There was this woman, and when it was my 2-year anniversary, she was brand new. That was her first AA meeting, and she was asking questions, and I could tell she was pretty emotional during that meeting and then the following week. But it brought me back to thinking, because she had asked me questions about like, what, how do you handle early sobriety and being a normal human being, not normal, but being a human being, and like, going on with life. I think that's what she was talking about. And it brought me to think that I was blessed, that, as crazy as it sounds, grateful and blessed that I went to rehab. Not everybody might say that, but I really consider that a blessing in disguise. But by going to rehab, there were no distractions, nothing. And I was able to concentrate on myself for 28, 21, whatever amount of days it was, because I left early because of COVID, because I got COVID. And, and then the other blessing I was thinking about with the early recovery was outpatient. I did that for, I think, longer than necessary. I did it for, I think, a full year. And, because it was weird. I was cleaning stuff out the other day, and I found my certificate from outpatient, and it said September 2023 that I completed. And so I started that. Yeah, it was about over a little bit more than a year. I started in August or September of 2022 and then completed it then. And I mean, I don't think that's the recommended, but I needed to stay. And that, the inpatient plus the outpatient plus AA has worked wonders, because I really believe going, as not hateful, as dreaded as it was to go 5 days a week for 3 hours a day.
I remember that.
it was, it was well worth it. Yeah. And, I don't know if I did 5 days. I think I did 3 days, because I think I kind of told them, there's no way in hell you're getting me there for 5 days.
Yeah.
I said, I'll do 3 days, and I did it. And they were all, but I extended it and I stayed longer. And then they walked me down to 1 hour to whatever it was. But I really believe that those sessions was like another like AA meetings. And it is like, what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
And I really believe I put in a lot to just with the inpatient. Yes, the first 7 days was like space. well, not space, but I was in detox.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Benny that I was telling you the story the other day that when I first got out of detox, still in inpatient, we were in the game room, small little room, not like a huge game room, but like a pool table and whatnot. There was a baseball game on, and Aaron Judge had hit a home run, and I started crying like a baby. And I'm like, I've seen a million home run, not a million, but I've seen a lot of home runs. And it wasn't anything special. It was just a home, and it was like because finally my emotions were all coming back to me after being detoxed for 7 days, and that was only 7 days, and so it's gone on, and it's been a lot, smoother.
Yeah. No, can definitely see the progress, but so that actually you kind of hit it a little bit, but we can expand on it. My question was gonna be, so what is the difference? How do you feel, if you were to describe your feelings between year one, your first anniversary, and your second anniversary? What's the difference in feelings?
Well, do you want me to do the AA reason? Like they always say, the first year's a gift.
No,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna give you like quote.
The miracle year. Now,
The miracle.
now
The
I'm
first
talking
year
about
season.
like, if you had any fear that like were like unfounded, that like the second year was like, you see what, you should not have to worry about. Like I don't want to put thoughts in your mind.
And it entered my mind like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't need anybody. I don't need anything. I made it a year, and that first year was really monumental because looking at AA meetings and people, and in general, not too many people make it a year, and even few make it longer. And I'm not trying to be cocky by saying, I did it, I got it. I'll never say that, because the minute you say I got this is when you fall down. But, that making it that first year was just, an accomplishment in itself. And I could see why, because, you're brand new, you don't know what's going on, and you're trying to figure out yourself and trying to see what got me into this situation,
Yeah.
and what happened. And because, like we've said in the past from other episodes, it is until it isn't. And I had tons of fun drinking and met tons of women. Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, a lot of women. But, and it was all good and all fun. But, and then it wasn't. And then it just got crazy. And I mean, lately I've been thinking back to, I never blacked out once when I drank. For whatever reason, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I always remember what I did. So I didn't have that. But I was thinking that I forget years at a time, like where I was not where I was, but I'm like, wow, that happened then. And it was just a blur, like 20 years, I think, of drinking or more. And some of the stuff was just a blur. And I was just like, wow, I made it through, which is good. Now I can remember, not every single day, but it's like everything is a lot more present and in focus for me. And, just thinking back to different things I was doing, and I'm like, wow, it's amazing that, and I always had fun, without a doubt. But then it just got really ridiculous, and I was just really abusing myself, and probably others in a way, maybe not physical, definitely not physical abuse, but like mental and other things I did that I didn't realize I was doing. And, that you don't realize. But then now that I'm sober, I'm getting all different things from friends and family saying, wow, you're really, they when I get up and I talk in front of family and friends and whatnot, it used to be like, holy shit, what is Rich going to say? They're like, they're like, hold on to your seat. We don't know what he's going to say. And they probably were going to try to like rip me off stage, like with the, like they did in the old school where they would put you and just pull you off stage. Yeah. But, to now when I speak, it's like, oh, wow. People friends and family are asking me for advice. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I've always could say that. I always gave advice, but I don't know what I said in the past.
That's funny.
Or I might have given advice, but it was like, a little rougher around the
Yeah.
edges than I am now. And I can see and I can feel it. And the first year, that was very challenging. The second year was challenging in itself in that I there were some things that happened during the first year which extended to I guess the second year.
Uh-huh.
I, no, that didn't really extend, but there were certain things that I got myself involved with certain people, and I had to, and I ended that, and how I made it not out alive, but how I made it sober,
Mhm.
considering what happened with women and certain events of where the sponsorship. I don't have a sponsor. Not that I'm saying I won't ever have one again, but I just right now I currently don't have one. But I have a lot of sober support, and I do a lot of work, and I do a lot of service, and I go to meetings, not as many as I used to,
Too, yeah.
but I still go to meetings and I pay attention in the meeting. Not that I didn't pay attention, but like there was a guy, there was somebody speaking the other night, and they were saying, you know, don't drink and go to meetings. Duh, no
Yeah.
kidding. But the person expanded on that, saying that, like, yes, you go to a meeting, but then you also have to pay attention and you
Yeah.
have to listen. And that is the best thing I had ever heard. Not ever, but one of the things I had heard where you really have to listen. And
Yeah.
and sometimes we're I'm tuned in where it's like, yeah, I'm listening to the person, but I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say to them.
Mhm. No,
and,
I
and
mean, I get it. Like sometimes, like listening is art. Like listening is definitely an art, and I share that with you. Like I noticed that I'm better at it, just able to listen because, like, the truth is, like, you want to say something because me personally, because I'm afraid of forgetting what I wanted to say, and so I need to say it now.
yeah.
Like but I'm better with it. I'm like, if I forget, I forget. It's not a big deal. It's probably gonna come later after. But at the moment, like, yeah, it's about listening and going there to whoever you listen to, if it's at the conference or meeting or like whoever the speaker and absorb what they have to say. You know, but what
And the
the,
getting back to the whole thing about the sponsor is
yeah.
good. And without a doubt, I cannot say that I would be sober without my first sponsor and he's still my sponsor. I mean, I didn't, we just kind of dissipated it. It wasn't like we yelled at each other or screamed. Maybe we did yell and scream, but it wasn't like ended like, oh, I never want to talk to you again. It just happened. And, I mean, I was with him from text or said hello to him at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to meetings in the morning, go to a couple other meetings, and finished with him by 7 o'clock at night every day for 6 months. So, I mean, that was really like boot camp. And I've done other readings where it's like, a sponsor is a guide, and he's not your financial advisor. He's not your relationship counselor.
Yeah.
He's not your, oh, you want to buy a house? This is what I suggest. No, he's basically showing you and guiding you through the steps and the program. And to me, I got that, and I don't really need to have my hand held. And sometimes you probably, in the beginning, I needed to be held, and not literally have my hand held, but like I needed to be coached and taught and told what to do because I was brand new and I wanted to, and I was scared. I wanted to be sober. But as it got on, then, I'm a self learner.
Yeah.
I can learn things. I read it once, I pretty much understand it. I'm not saying crazy stuff like astrophysics or something
Yeah.
like that. but you read something and you learn it and you get it. And to me, it's all a learning experience. and what you absorb, so that's why I feel, right now I don't have a sponsor. I'm not shutting the door. I never shut the door on anything. So, who knows? Maybe at some point I'm going to need, because you never know what happens and what happens in your life.
Yeah.
Right now, everything is fine and great and this and that. And, I don't know what, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what the future is going to bring. But, I've learned a lot from, and especially the sober support group with you and a couple other people, but specifically you, because we see each other probably more than we should. No, I'm kidding. I'm just busting chops. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I mean, we go to the gym, we work out, we go to meetings, we, do commitments together. We, box and everything. And that's all part of it. And it's all part of, and we even do other things where we've gone to Yankee games, Knick games. And, that's why, like the woman that I met at the meeting, it brought me back, because she was like, well, what should I do? What do you think? And I'm like, it all depends on every individual. And I'm not trying to be nasty by saying, well, it's all up to you. It's not, but like in the beginning, there's no way in hell when I was 2 months sober, 3 months sober, I could go to a baseball game without, maybe thinking that, oh, wow, there's alcohol here. Now I go to a game. We went to the Yankee game a couple of weeks ago, and we've gone to the Knicks game, and
we were offended by the price of the alcohol. We're like, no way we paid that. We're like, no way. Yeah, we used to pay that. We didn't care. Like,
16, just so the audience knows,
$12.
We thought it was $12, and it was $16.50 for domestic, $17.50 a beer for imported. And I mean, that was one beer.
Man, it was like a tall boy, but still, bro. Like, I'm like, damn, all right. Like, yeah, I would rather stay sober for a little bit longer.
I'm not gonna, and we know that we would just not drink one. It would be probably 5, 10, who knows how many.
A baseball game is 3 hours, and we're like tired. And I was like, how do people do that while drinking? Like, I'm like, no way. But like, to go back to what you were saying, that, the first month or first 2 months, you needed to listen because there was no way you're going to get, you were not in the right mindset. No. I want to go back to that idea that, like, like, I think you are fortunate enough, and also, because your character, you're intelligent, to get these things early. To understand, like you said, the material is not rocket science, but like, one needs to put themselves in a position of listening, And I remember we were talking once, and you got a grievance with somebody who wasn't sure that you got it right, because apparently you are getting it too quickly, or like because you didn't suffer or didn't relapse as many times as all the others. Like, you didn't do like 12 rehabs. So for a certain subset, people are like, oh, are you really good? And like, do you want to expand on that? How does that work? Especially now you're too, like,
that would drive me insane. The first couple of months, or not like the first 7, 8, 9, 10 months. That, where you walk into a meeting, are you good? Yes. No, it would be, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. You really fine? No, I'm just lying to you. What do you think? I'm making it all up. But, it would drive me nuts. And then I was like thinking, well, these people aren't getting it, so maybe they're jealous. I'm not jealous, but they're like, want me to suffer more. And what do I have to do? Go out and embarrass myself? I got it. I get it, And the other thing is that also helped me, and it's me. And like, I'm a unicorn when it comes to recovery. I can't, I don't think people could follow what I do. And I'm not being cocky or anything, and I'm not trying to beat my chest, but like, my whole thing is I pray like 3-4 hours a day. And I'm not saying everybody can do that. Some people, I mean, I couldn't do that a couple of years. There was no way. But now, because of recovery, I'm constantly in prayer and thanks. and you know, you could say higher power. Mine is God.
Yeah.
And you know, so I go to church every day. That's me. And it's not, you know, so if someone's like, well, how do I get to what I'm like, well, you really can't. And yes, I can show you the steps, and I can show you this, and I can show you that. But like, I'm different in that my brother-in-law calls me a freak. And he's like, you're a freak. He goes, and in a good way. But he's like, because, you know, so, and he knows, he's been around people in the program and out of the program and knows what it's like. And he's like, how you get it. He just, and he was amazed. And my godson nephew he came to my 2-year anniversary, and he was blown away, and he was really happy for me. And I mean, he's what, 20 years old, 19, and he goes to Notre Dame, you know, so he's, you know, they're there. That's when I began my drinking. And it's weird that younger people today, they don't want to drink. And I don't know if it's because you know, they know or whatever, but it just isn't like that. I remember my big drinking years were 18 to 25. And then it just continued. But I mean, like, I learned how to do my drinking in college, you know. I don't know what else. I learned a couple other a couple other things in college. And, you know,
back when you could take like 5 guys to finish a keg.
5 guys to finish a keg.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like it was a different time period. I'll just say it that way, where things could be different, you know, but, but, you know, and it's amazing that, you know, and I have a couple other nephews who are in college, and the drinking isn't like on there, which is good, I guess. Well, no, not I guess. I know it is, because I've seen what it can do and what it did to me. And it didn't destroy me in the beginning, but then as it got longer, I mean, it was just like, what type of life is this?
Yeah.
Where, you know, waking up every day and drinking and doing it. And yes, I was working, and like the Jimmy Buffett song, I made enough money to buy Miami. I don't know if I was able to buy Miami, and I pissed it away so fast. That seems to be what I did, you know, because I don't know what a lot of money is, but I did make a good amount of money, and I did piss it away faster than I could make it, you know, and you know, because when I go out, everybody's out. Well, you know, oh, I got it. I got everybody, you know, and so you've learned to where it's like, wow, that was really real insanity. And, you know, I've really learned a lot. The second year, the weird thing is that I was holding an amends for a year, because you know what this bozo did?
What?
First year, I thanked everybody. I thanked everybody, and I thanked my mother. I thanked the janitor. I thanked this. I thanked that. Not that anything is wrong about being a janitor, because I don't want anybody complaining, but I'm just saying, like, it just ran the gamut from the president to, I thanked everybody for my sobriety, and I forgot to thank my father. So I don't know why. Maybe I just grouped him in with my mother, and I just didn't mention him, but I should have. So I held that for a year. And so I did that amends at my 2-year anniversary. And, you know, so that was quite interesting, you know, and I'm not saying that that's what held me on for a year, but, you know, but there were a lot of trials, tribulations, and, you know, how am I going to go about, you know, and I don't know. It just happened that I just don't have the compulsion or the wanting to drink. And I mean, I've thought about it. It's like, do you want to drink? I'm like, I could have a drink. Nobody's going to know, but I'm going to know. And I have a mad, crazy conscience.
Yeah.
I cannot do something and show up somewhere else and say, no, I'm fine. I could not drink and then go to a meeting and be like, yep, I'm still sober. You know,
I cannot do that.
It would drive me insane, because it would just drive me insane. And yes, I you know, but but it's like, it's not like a driving force to drink. It just crosses the mind. It's like, well, do you want to, I could if I wanted, but no, I don't want to. And that's the thing. I just don't want to have a drink.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that I think is from the grace of God. because, and, I've said in the past, I pray a lot. And, I also pray to keep resentments away, because I've had some resentments for some women, couple of women.
Yeah.
I
But before we expand on that, I want to just point out like what you just said, like you pray a lot and you give, you in touch with God and stuff. And I think this is if I were to point the finger on what's working and what makes you so spiritually fit right now, is that the tools you found to be attuned with your higher power. Because even the steps of AA are a guide to be attuned with our spiritual higher power, right?
yeah
Because even I remember a previous guest, uh, Luis, the episode on spiritual fitness. I was like, Luis, is it enough to just, go to the steps to be spiritually fit? And he told me like, no, you need to be attuned with your higher power. So whatever makes you attune with your higher power, that's what like needs to be cultivated, right? And what works for me is the steps, but also the physical part. For me, spirit is both mind and body, right? Like
right.
they're the three legs, the spirit, mind, body are the three legs of a tripod. One is broken, the whole thing falls, right? And I think that,
A spiritual tripod, not a tripod from the gym.
yeah, not the tripod for the gym, no, a spiritual tripod. Oh God, like let's not go there.
We
But
won't
like,
even go there.
yeah, but I think that's what sadly is missing when people in our community, especially with AA, says like, I went to the steps, but what did you find your spiritual fitness? Like, did you find a spiritual equilibrium? Like, are you attuned with your higher power? And it's so hard because the higher power itself, putting a definition to it is limiting what it is. And
Yeah,
it's hard. Like you said, like you did it. We know what works, right? Being attuned with your higher power, but how to get there it's just a guide. But when you're there, like,
no, when
yeah.
you're there, and I mean, I do, and then they go into, we've discussed at meetings and all over the place about surrender, and surrender's an interesting word, because I do some service where I speak at Northport VA, and all military guys, and they're like, they were they were funny. They were telling me, well, not funny, but they were saying how, the surrender is not in their creed to say, but it's not, that's surrendering to the enemy. This is surrendering and giving everything up to God. And they also were saying that, and a couple of guys one was from Vietnam, a couple from Iraq wars, and this and that, and they were saying, well, in a foxhole, there is always, it's not a question of if there is a God or isn't. There is a God. That's all there is when you're in the foxhole. And, but that was me, not in a foxhole, but me with the higher power being God. And I didn't have a problem with that. And that might have held some other people back, where they're like, oh, I can't get the God thing. And and I feel sorry for them. But, that's part of the spiritual fitness that you need to have, because anybody in there, and because, like, it's not easy. It's a simple program. There's a difference. And you could go through the 12 steps. It's, boom.
Yeah.
All right, I did one, I did two. And then all of a sudden you think, oh, okay, now, the heavens are going to open, and I'm like, now alcohol and drug and everything free. And that's not necessarily it, because it from what the big book says to what everybody says, it's a guide. And the 12 steps, like even Bill W. said, the 12 steps, don't make a project out of it. He's like, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
try to help somebody and try not to hurt anybody or yourself. And by the end of the day, you've done the 12 steps, and, but yeah, spiritual fitness is a big, big part of my, being, where a lot of gratitude, I give it up a lot, almost everything everything I give up to God. And that's just me. And that's what got me to this place that I'm at, because, I mean, I really thank for everything. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I'm always doing gratitude for anything that happens. And I think if you have that, that also can help, because if you don't have gratitude and you're not, thankful for the situation or what you're doing,
Yeah.
you're going to have problems. And, you relapse, because the thing is, I was thinking about relapse is that's when you don't have the mental toughness and you don't have the spiritual fitness. And, that's one of the other things that I've built up, and we'll go into that in a minute, but the mental toughness in that I could sit, not you, but I could sit and say, I'm going to have a drink. Benny's not going to know. And I don't have to tell him, even though my conscience would drive me nuts. And I would tell him eventually, but he's not going to know. And then your mind can play tricks on you, and your mind can say, you know what, Rich, you deserve that beer. You deserve that shot. You worked hard. You put 2 years in. Just have one shot. And I know it's never going to be one shot for me. And it's never going to be one drink. And not that I would do it if I could only do one drink, I probably wouldn't be an alcoholic. But, I mean, and that's where, the mind plays tricks on you, and it convinces you that, oh no, nobody's going to know, you deserve it. Come on. It's only one. Let's do it, whatever. And that's where that's where I would run into trouble if I was to go that way.
Yeah.
But a lot also that I did was the 75 hard program.
Oh yeah, you did that now.
Shout out to that. And where it really built up the mental toughness.
Yeah.
And I did 75 hard, then I did phase 1, phase 2, then I just completed a second 75 hard. Then I have to wait 30 days before October 25th, because I started 75 hard October 25th, 2023, and to complete the year of 75 hard. But really, this program has...
Can you describe it for those who don't understand, who don't know?
You're doing tasks every day. You have to do 2 workouts every single day. You have to do and one of the workouts has to be outdoors. They have to be 3 hours apart. You have to take a progress picture. You have to read 10 pages of a self-help type book. You can't read, like a fiction of Transformers or something. You have to, it's all about being, and you have to drink a gallon of water and do those 5 things. And you do them every day for 75 days straight. So if you miss one of them, you have to go back. There was a friend of ours who's in the program, we know, and he just told me, I forgot to tell you, he 57 days and he screwed up.
Oh yeah?
About drinking water. And he had to start back.
No way.
So he went 57 days and then he had to go back to the beginning. And I think that would build mental toughness, that if you're going to go 50 and 60, whatever days, and you miss one. And see, the thing about this program that's amazing is that you have to be honest to yourself.
Yeah.
Cause you could fake things. You could say, well, and each of the workouts has to be 45 minutes. So you could be like, all right, 20 minutes. That's good for me.
So it's half of 45.
Or you could say, well, I'm going to read 3 pages and consider it 10 because, but whatever, and I'm not going to count Well, and I think I drank a gallon of water. I don't know. Maybe
I'm not sure. Yeah, it should be around a gallon, right?
it's right around. And then, I mean, you can't really fake taking a picture. You got to take a progress picture every
Yeah.
day, and that's the key. And the progress picture, yes, you look different, but it's not like a suit. Oh, and the other thing you have to do is stick to a diet, and not. He doesn't. The rules don't say that you have to stick to a specific diet, but just stick to something. And what I did was I just kept it under a certain amount of calories. So I was on the calories. I could eat anything really, not anything, but and I just had to track. I tracked all of my calories to make sure I stayed under. I forget what I did, maybe 2,200 calories or something like that. And you know, just did that. But these are things that you have to do every single day, and then you got to work it into your life.
Yeah.
So to do the 75 hard and then go to meetings and go to work, training for boxing and going to the gym and doing all sorts of service, going around talking, this built mental toughness like like no other, and
Yeah.
no other program I know. And there are a couple of people, who've done it from the, in the, who we know, who've
Yeah.
been guests. Katie, we'll give
Yeah,
a shout out to Katie.
shout out to you.
She did it. She was the one that turned me on to it,
Yeah.
because she was like, and then Steve,
Yeah.
was the one, and the book was floating around at the one of the meetings, and I was like, let me take a look at this, and it really, I fell in love with it. I'm just like, and now I finished 75 hard, right, the second 75 hard around my 20 on the 25th. So I've been kind of like, now I don't have to do it because I completed that, but I still do. I do like a walk. I don't take the picture every day, every couple of days maybe, but I do still drink a gallon of water, still pay attention to the diet, still read to better myself.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think either this guy Andy Frisella, he's the one that did the 75 hard program.
Book, yeah.
Either it doesn't say that he's in AA, but it said that maybe he was around it because he had mentioned in it, because that's another thing, which I just kind of took as nothing. You can't drink alcohol for 75 days.
Yeah, you cannot drink alcohol. That's part of
it. And I just was like, well, that was kind of a given for me.
Yeah.
But, this program really goes 1-on-1, the 75 hard, with maintaining this type of discipline and mental toughness and commitment and discipline.
Yeah.
And through it, the one thing I learned, and between that program and the AA and recovery, is that when you first are getting sober, you get motivation.
Yeah.
I want to get sober. It's kind of like everybody in January who signs up for the gym. Everybody's motivated to do it.
Yeah, everybody.
But after a while, then you have to have discipline to continue and do what you have to do to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I wouldn't want to go back to what I was, because I mean, I'm looking damn good. No, I'm kidding, but I probably am. I don't know if I am or not, but anyhow, I've lost like a lot of poundage, and and I'm not drinking, and I'm feeling great, and looking alive, and I mean, people are giving me compliments. I don't know.
No, that's true. You're looking great.
And so the other thing I was thinking was that by being sober, what it's done for me, it's giving me the ability to do what I was meant to do. And I was meant to do this from, I don't know, maybe from whenever. But like now I'm doing things that I never would have thought of. I mean, doing boxing, doing things where I don't have to plan around, I can't get in the car because I just had 5 drinks. Now, it doesn't matter what time. Oh, you want me to be there at 7 o'clock at night? Fine. In the past, I'd be like, well, I can't make it because I've already had 20 drinks.
Yeah, I get it.
Or not 20 drinks, but and so it's really awakened me and made me feel more
Yeah.
alive and young. And
Let me just stop you for a second here. So like earlier, before we move too far, and if you're, when you say that, like, the 75-hour program kept you honest, and the thing about discipline, I totally agree with that. Um, made me think about this, like, sometimes I mean, they say it all time, alcohol is not the problem, it's the solution. Do you think that in order to be spiritually fit, of course, you need to work on your default of character. But would you okay, here is what I think. I think that what makes it so hard for some not able to get it is that their default of character is they're not the best at being honest with themselves. They're not the best at being disciplined. They're not also the best at wanting to, I don't want to say people, because saying like you don't want it bad enough is not fair. We all want to be better. We
I
all
I
want to not suffer. But there's a difference, like you said, when you surrender and like acceptance of your condition, and you're ready to go to any length. And I think being ready to go to any length to accept, to in order to be spiritually fit, entails that there need to be some work in your default of character that you're not gonna find in the big book. Be like, oh man, if you're a selfish bastard, well, you need to do that. Those are things that you need to feel fine outside of
that's why I love
yeah.
the group down in Long Beach, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, we got to do what we have to do what we have to do. That I think doesn't make sense. But what we have to do every day to be the best person that we want to be. And then by doing that, and like people may call it self-love, self-care, whatever. But by doing that, by you being how you're being, and you're being the best person you can, you're attracting people, and they're like, I want to be with that person.
Yeah.
Not romantically, but I want to be with, or
I want to have what they
have what they have, and
yeah.
be with that person because they're leading the life that I really want to lead. And the other thing is about the spiritual fitness. I think it comes because, like, I've always gone to church. That's just me. And like, I was going when I was drinking. I would go to mass, and then afterwards I would go right to the liquor store. So but I think I was just more or less, doing it just because, for whatever reason, not just doing it. I believed, and I always was very religious and very spiritual, but I was just kind of like going, whatever. This is ever since recovery has started, it's given me a stronger spirituality than I've ever had before, where, and I think when you have that spiritual fitness and there's a higher power and God, surrendering to God in every way, shape, or form, that also leaves out the me. Because the minute you feel that, oh, I'm best and I can do this, and I'm, that's when you could relapse.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. I don't know if that's everybody's feeling, but I think the minute you take something away and then they're like, oh, well, I relapsed. Well, why did you relapse? Well, because I thought I got that.
Yeah.
That's because you think you're the best thing in the world. And yes, you can be the best thing in the world, but you got to remember that there's a higher power, somebody something that's going to guide you in that way. Because the minute and that's how everything falls, I think. And I'm not trying to get really super deep about it.
Yeah.
But when all of a sudden you think that you're better than everything else, and that you don't need any other help, that's when people fall, We've seen it a million times.
Yeah, we've seen it a million times. That's crazy.
I mean, you've seen it in all different parts of society.
Yeah.
That's when things fall and marriages, and I'm not going to get, we're not going to, because
No.
then we'll be talking for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, once it's about you, and
Mhm.
and you just think that you're, the best thing since sliced bread, then, then things can fall apart, where you think, oh, I'm untouchable, so I can have a drink.
Mm-hmm.
You're not untouchable, or you're not you're not protected from, you think you're better than anything, and that, I can have a drink because I'm rich and I can have a drink. No, I can't, because if I have a drink, I'm going to have a second, third, fourth, and 20th. And then there's going to be problems, and then it's going to lead to other things. And, that's why, I always thought, like, well, why would I wouldn't want to go back to what I was.
Yeah.
And someone said it in the rooms the other night. You never hear a story of people saying, oh, it's much better when you go back out. Oh my God, I'm going to tell you the story. I relapsed, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, no,
You never hear that.
there will not be a vulgars, but how, now that you like in that state of mind, and thankfully like you currently, spiritually fit, to go back to, how do you approach people like who wants to get sober? You mentioned that woman that you briefly talked to, but like
I see where you're going with it. And the thing is, I can help them and say this,
because you do a lot of service,
and I do.
you speak at a lot of facilities, rehabs and stuff like that, but then,
I mean, it's like, when it comes down to it with me and getting sober, it wasn't because, I didn't blame, my parents. I didn't blame, because of the job I had. I didn't blame religion. I didn't blame them. It was me. I wanted to pick up the drink, and with being sober, the thing that everybody, I think, has to realize is, do you want to be sober? Once you realize you want to be sober, then you can always get spiritual fitness.
mm-hmm.
You might not get it in the beginning. I think there are a ton of people that didn't get it in the beginning. I've heard that there were atheists who started out in AA, and then they became devout Christians by the end. And so you can build up your spiritual fitness, but the number one thing is, step number one, not to, to go back, that, powerless over alcohol, and my life is unmanageable. Once you realize that, and you don't think, oh, well, you know what, I can just manage this.
Yeah.
Because I thought for years my life was manageable, and I was managing insanity. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't managing anything. And, but I really believe that once it's in your mind, then the program is simple. Well, no, the program is simple,
But
it's not easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the 12 steps. And yes, but you have to really, because you and I could both do the 12 steps and say, all right, I did one, what did I do? And it's all kind of like mental masturbation, that I got, like, I'm just checking things off. And okay, now I did 4, now I did 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now come on, make me sober. I've done 12. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
And I really, with other people, I will help anybody. I'm not ready yet to guide somebody through the steps.
No, yeah, I've finished my steps work. I'm not ready to guide me personally, and it might shock some people. I'm not willing to sponsor anybody because I am not speaking for myself. I need to know your people's intentions. Because I know myself how frustrated I will get, right? I do service other ways, but like for sponsorship, I need to get somebody. I will prefer for my first sponsor to be somebody who really gets step one. Be like, who's like, I surrender. Not out like, not out like, oh, I just got out of a bender. I'm like desperate right now, surrender. And then in 3 days, I think I'm going to get it again. And I know people like that. And those guys, like, I can't because I'm like, I'm not going to do something to get angry. Or like,
Good
yeah.
thing you said that,
Yeah.
because I was feeling the same way, but I wanted you to say it first.
Okay.
No, because the thing is, it would drive me probably insane
Mm-hmm.
if someone I was sponsoring just didn't get it. It probably would. And it probably, because of the service I do and the type of person I am, it would take a lot out of me to help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind doing that. But, if they didn't, it would probably really upset me
Yeah.
a lot. And I would need to know, intention is everything. With anything that you do, I believe intention. Like, why is he or she being nice to
Yeah.
me? What's her or his intention behind it all? And call me crazy, but I need to know that.
Yeah.
No,
there's nothing wrong with wanting to do
and
that.
I need to show people my intentions are pure and this and that of why I'm building a friendship or doing something nice for someone, because you got to think that way, because it's a pretty girl. Oh yeah, I'll be your sponsor, even though it's supposed to be men with men and women with women. It's she's something fine. But it's all about intentions.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, and I'm glad you said that, because I'm not really ready to sponsor anybody.
Yeah.
I had somebody, and he asked for help, and I got him a sponsor.
Yeah.
And because it takes a lot. And the thing is, going back to what my brother-in-law said, I'm a freak show when it comes to AA. And I'm a unicorn in that, yes, I've done the 12 steps and this and that, and whatever, but there's like so many different other aspects of how I've stayed sober that I don't know if everybody would want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just can't, and I just love the way, one day at a time and staying in the present, because you go in the past, depression, you go in the future, anxiety. And I know that's said at a lot of meetings, but just think about it. I mean, I'm talking to the audience. Just think about that. If you go in the back, maybe not everything is depressing in the past, but a lot could be if you're in where I'm at or where I've been. And then you go to the future and you're like, well, I can be anxious. What the hell's going to happen? How am I going to, I need money. I need this. I need that. Am I still going to be able to be sober? Stay in the present. And you're in a balance.
Yeah.
And what was what the guy said on Jerry Maguire? Quam or whatever that was, where you're in that feeling.
Yeah. I don't know why.
No, I'm just saying, it just came to me because of what he was saying when he was, but like, you just have to be in, and you get that peace, and then everybody else lives off of it. And stoicism.
Yeah.
That is such a big one, where I can only control myself. And there are a lot of other things, and I'm teaching other people that who aren't in the program, and they're just like, how can you be that way? I'm like, well, it's not all AA.
Yeah.
It is, but like a lot of it has to do with the Stoic mindset, and I think that's what helps us.
All right. So like, we that's so beautiful to say. Like, we are reaching the hour mark, and I would like you to close with, I would like to close with that last question. What is something that you learned about yourself in your second year that you didn't know in your first year?
Seriously, the mental toughness, which I talked about, and the no matter what, doing no matter what it takes to do, and I mean, this isn't easy. I mean, you get up every day. I could drink, I could smoke, I could do whatever. I mean, I just quit smoking again. I stopped for 16 years. Then for whatever reason, I started vaping and smoking. Stopped vaping like it was nothing. Then I was like, well, I'm just gonna have cigarettes. And now I'm like day 3 of no smoking.
Okay.
And I was like smoking for a long time, and this might be an answer to also where I just finally got it in my head, and I'm like, I don't want to smoke anymore. Same thing as drinking. I just thought, because I was smoking and maybe I was doing it for whatever reason, replacing something, but like I got it into my mind, and we'll see what happens. But it's one day at a time. But I didn't drink and I didn't smoke today, so cigarettes, and that's good, and I'm not none of the other stuff. But but and the thing I learned was the mental toughness, and that if I put my mind to something, I can accomplish a lot. And I learned about service and community and friendship and sober support, and like you being there no matter what.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to like to suck up to you because this is your podcast and stuff, but really you've been there for me and helped me, no matter, even like driving to go work out, even though we're doing it together.
Yeah.
It keeps me sober. And when we're going to other things and we're going down to the beach and we're going to make coffee and we're going to do this or that or whatever, it's all part of the game that I need. And another thing I'm thinking about to what I want to be in for third year, and it's not necessarily I'm thinking way ahead, but like I have these goals of where I was, where I am, where I want to be. And so I want to be sober in 3 years for the 3 years in a row. Oh, no, just my third anniversary. And you take it one day at a time and it will happen. I hope. I don't have a crystal ball, but so far so good, man.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna conclude. Thank you guys for listening. I just want to finish with this. Yo, Rich, what you're doing is amazing, man. You're a testament of this program works. Like, the program of AA works. Like that we can definitely add more to that program, like stoicism, recovery. That we don't have to swear by one allegiance to one thing. Like it's a mix. Whatever works for you, works for you. And I'm so glad to call you my friend, man. And I'm really, really happy for you that, that you reach year 2. And again, thanks for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you. Love you, brother.
You too, man. And guys, I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Well, bye.